Hello everybody, and welcome to the Corona for 3ds Max Sun and Sky how-to video. In this one, we are going to show you how you can use the physically realistic and awesome looking Corona Sun and Sky system to light up your scenes. We're going to be working in an island resort-like scene, which is going to be a perfect candidate to demo the workflow. So as you can see right now, we have our interactive renderer running. Our island scene here is in pretty much complete darkness, save for these little light bulbs here. And so let's go and let's use the Corona Sun and Sky system to light things up. To place the Corona Sky in your scene, all you need to do is you need to go under the rendering drop down here, then proceed to the environment and effects menu. And in the environment map slot here, you need to plug in a Corona Sky map. Just by doing that, as you can see in the interactive renderer, there's now a sky lighting up our scene. So bravo everybody, mission accomplished. Now, the sky we have is looking great, but typically you'd also want there to be a sun on the sky. So how do you bring in a Corona Sun? Well, all we need to do is we need to go under the create menu and then under lights. And now we just need to use the drop down menu to show the available Corona lights. And as you'll see, we have the Corona Sun in here. So we just need to select it and then click and drag in the viewport to position it in our scene. And voila, look at that. Just like that, we have a pretty cool looking, realistic sun and sky system all set up here. Now, to manipulate the sun's position, we can just move the viewport gizmo around. So we can move the sun anywhere we'd like to, just by simply adjusting the position of the gizmo itself. Alright, so with the sun object, we've got a couple of interesting, really useful parameters that we'd like to show you. First being the size parameter. So with the size parameter, what you're doing is, you're deciding how small your sun will be, or how big your sun will be. So with it, you can really fine-tune the look of your scenes, especially those evening or morning ones where the sun is really visible. One option that you'll probably want to tweak in those scenarios as well is the textured option. When the sun is visible and close to the horizon, like in our example here, well then, with the textured option turned on, the sun, when directly looked at, will look all that more realistic. So it's a really useful option for those morning or sunset scenes. Now for our next parameter demo, let's just reset the size by right-clicking on the size parameter, and then let's reposition the sun a little bit higher up on the sky. Right, okay. Then you've got the intensity parameter. With it, you'll be able to control how intense the sunlight is. So lower values will make the sun's effect less noticeable, while higher values will make the sun stronger. And those really are the basics of working with the sun object. You do have other parameters here to change the sun's color or change how the sun affects the scene, but those are usually not tweaked as often. Right. So that's about it for the sun. Let's now take a look at some of the basic parameters for the sky as well. To access those, you'll need to bring up the material editor, and you'll need to drag in the Corona Sky that you're using in your environment slot. So with the sky, you can tweak its intensity with the intensity parameter. And the usual goes here. Higher values mean more illumination coming from the sky. Lower values mean less illumination coming from the sky. And then, if you want to further tweak the look and feel of your sky, you can mess with its turbidity, which will essentially let you control how clear or how overcast your sky is. Furthermore, you can adjust the altitude you're located at, as higher altitudes, as you can see, change the appearance of the sky itself. The higher up you are, the clearer, bluer the sky becomes. And this is all simulated to look like it would in real life, so there's actual physical realism to it all. Then, last but definitely not least, you've got the volume effect parameter. And to demo it better, we're just quickly going to switch to a different scene here. We're now going to be in a mountain range, as you can see. All right, now if you turn the volume effect to on, you will add that nice atmospheric haze to the scene, where the more distant objects will get enveloped into the atmosphere, resulting in a really amazing looking scene. Naturally, you can use the scale parameter to scale the effect itself, so lower values will make it less noticeable, while higher values will make it more noticeable. Now, before we conclude this tutorial, let's just quickly talk about sun linking as well. Every sky can be linked to a sun using the sun linking parameter here. Automatic means that Corona will try to link things automatically, and it'll help itself out by looking at the names of your suns and skies. So a Corona sky that's named early evening sky would get linked to a Corona sun that's named, well, similarly, so early evening sun. But you can also switch sun linking from automatic linking to manual linking, which means you can input your own sun in here. So if we turn off the existing sun and we create a new Corona sun object, well, we also need to make sure that the new Corona sun object is turned on. Well, what we can do now is we can plug this new sun into the sun linking slot. Now, why is linking cool? Well, if, for example, you change the angle of a sun that's linked to a sky, well, that sky will adapt accordingly and realistically to the sun's position. So if your sun is really close to the horizon, the sky will look like it does in reality when the sun is close to the horizon. And so the sky will adapt to the sun it's linked to. Best thing? It's all simulated realistically based on real physical models. All that said though, if you're not quite sure yet why having multiple suns and multiple skies in your scenes can be of use to you, well, if you're using Lightmix and you have multiple suns and multiple skies in your scenes, that means you have different times of the day available at your fingertips, ready to go, just by toggling between the setups in Lightmix. And because of that linking, all of the skies will adapt to the suns they're linked to. So basically, you only need to render once and you'll have all those different times of the day available in your single final render. Now, if you don't know how to use Lightmix though, no worries, we'll go over it in a later video. Now, before we start concluding this tutorial, we'd like to offer a small production tip. If you don't like using the 3ds Max's menus to bring in Corona specific objects, like the Corona sun or the Corona light, for example, you can always resort to using the Corona toolbar. Just select the object you want to create and then go at it like you normally would by placing that object in your scene. So the toolbar offers an alternative, easier to reach method of creating Corona specific objects. Plus, from the toolbar, you can also access the Corona specific functionality, like bringing up the VFB or starting the interactive renderer, and so on and so forth. So feel free to pick a workflow that suits you best. And with that, we'd like to thank you for your attention, because we've now successfully went over all of the most relevant parameters and workflows that there are to the Corona Sun and Sky system. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you've learned something new, and until the next video, take care everybody.